seconds to go. Start. For nearly 200 years now, Indians have sailed to distant shores in search of employment and trade. Many, the forefathers of some of you, settled where they worked. The conditions in the early days of migration were neither easy nor happy, but they worked hard and diligently. Some of them displayed their inherent entrepreneurship and established themselves in businesses. Early migrants went to Canada, America, and China, and wherever there was British colonial presence. Over the years, the profile of migrants has changed. We still provide skilled labor to the Gulf states and to other areas in the Middle East, but now a more important segment comprises of professionals, teachers, scientists, computer engineers, and programmers, doctors, managers, bankers, and even gurus who are being acclaimed in areas of top management and creative thought. Similarly, in trade and industry, many businessmen of Indian origin have developed entrepreneurial skills which their host countries are finding valuable to their economies. We recognize and applaud these luminaries on their success. I am particularly happy that some of those who have distinguished themselves in this regard are in our midst today. In the last 50 years, Indians have developed certain competitive advantages include a large technical and scientific manpower base, fairly well developed infrastructure, a large network of banks, a well established capital market, and a good educational system. India has always had a substantial private sector active in all areas of the economy. A vibrant part of Indian initiative is manifested in the small scale sector. This comprises thousands of small industrial units scattered around the country. The Indian corporate sector is large and diversified with a mix of ownership in public, private, and cooperative sectors and small, medium, and large sized enterprises. Our legal system is fair and just, and we have the advantage of being a part of the English speaking world. These factors make India a good destination. We are all aware of the recent crises which have affected the economies of Southeast Asia and Russia. Even Japan is facing difficulties. At the same time, we may note the fact that our country remained by and large unaffected by these economic disturbances. This speaks well of the resilience our economy has developed over the years. Despite being part of the globalization process, our fundamentals remained strong and helped us to stay on course and prevented any major macroeconomic imbalances. More significantly, a sum of about 12 billion US dollars has come in each of the last two fiscal years as direct remittance from Indians abroad. I need hardly emphasize how useful a role these resources have been playing in our economic development efforts. In the last 7 to 8 months since my government took office, we have taken several initiatives aimed at revitalizing economic growth, promoting strong infrastructure development, and bring about an information technology revolution within the country. Several of these measures are already under implementation. In certain other cases, legislative bills will need to receive parliamentary approval next month. The direction, however, is clear. Economic reforms are here to stay, and if anything, the process is being accelerated. We all appreciate the crucial importance of infrastructure in our development process. Towards this end, we have taken a number of decisions. One, plan outlay for the power sector has been significantly stepped up this year. 2. Scope of automatic approval for foreign direct investment in power has been liberalized by placing foreign equity participation up to 100% on the automatic approval route, provided the foreign equity in any such project does not exceed rupees 1500 crore. 3. The procedure for issue of counter guarantee to eligible private power projects has been simplified, and counter guarantees have recently been issued to 3 projects: Vishakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, Neyveli in Tamil Nadu, and Bhadravati in Maharashtra. 4. The Electricity Regulatory Commission Act 1998 has been enacted to provide for the establishment of central and state electricity regulatory commissions, rationalization of electricity tariff, and transparent policies regarding subsidies. The Central Commission has begun functioning. The process of setting up state level commissions in various states. 5. The Electricity Laws Amendment Act 1998 has been enacted to coordinate the operation of the grid system and allow greater flow of resources in the transmission sector. 6. In the petroleum and natural gas sector, government has decided to sign production sharing contracts with private parties for 18 exploration blocks covering an area of over 50,000 square kilometers. 7. Bids will be invited shortly under the new exploration licensing policy, for which the way has been paved with the introduction of a liberalized royalty regime. 8. The government will offer blocks to private and national oil companies for the exploration and exploitation of coal, which is in abundance in India. And 9. The process of pricing reforms in the petroleum sector is being carried forward by initiating the dismantling of administrated pricing mechanism in phases from April 1st, 1998. Stop.